This would be fan rotation week 5. I think I misspoke in week 4, called it week 3, whatever. I went back and looked. This would be week 5. This is kind of a sad one for me. As of this recording, I just returned from 2 weeks of being out of town, essentially 2 weeks of being out of town, visiting family in New Jersey for a few days, and then starting my vacation with family in Delaware. The beaches in Delaware, Rehoboth, Bethany Beach, which is a thing I've been going to since I was a little kid. I've talked about it on the channel before. And got back here yesterday, which was a Sunday. Today's Monday, which means work. Unfortunately, I wish making videos full-time was my work, because I enjoy that. I enjoy talking to you and commenting with you guys. But reality is I have a work day today, so I don't have to, but I wanted to rotate the fans. This video will air probably a few days, maybe even a couple weeks after today, the actual day. Today's the 11th of August. And what makes it also sad is, I can't believe this is the 5th week of fan rotation. It feels like I just started doing this. Okay, so I'm kind of catching up to what I have here in this room to rotate. So some of you may yawn, or some of you might roll your eyes at me with what I'm about to do. So I'm just going to go do it. So we will turn off the Toastmaster. I did enjoy this fan. And it's funny because, you know, you have the fans in storage and you don't really use them, especially some of the lesser models, if you will. And then when I pull them out to actually use them, I'm thinking to myself, I like this fan. All right, so this is not going to be one surprise to anyone here at all, what I'm about to put in the window. So, as you know, I have many of these, and they're making their way over here. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the one I have here, no, I don't think this is it. This is just no, this is it. So this is one. Okay, let's get it in the window first. What do I want to do here? We're gonna put it on exhaust, even though that last fan was on intake. So I was trying to dry laundry in a hurry. Typically, I leave the one down here on exhaust. Oh, look at this! Whoop! Big surprise! What I just put in the window. So the story behind this one is, and I haven't really used it. A few years ago, it was actually on eBay for parts, burned out motor. And I got talking to one of my fan buddies, and he said, send it to me. He's like, it's not toast. And I thought I could use the parts for it, or one day need the parts off of it. But I would rather restore something than part it out, especially if it's in good shape. And this was in good condition. So he repaired it. It was a burnt winding, I believe. And I'm like 99.9% positive it's this one, because there's some interesting white, looks like white paint on the other side of the grill, on the front grill, just a little bit. And that's how I remembered which one it is. So let's crank it up. There we go. Just like the Edison I have in my office. Cool. So I know you're probably yawning at this point, like, oh, Ed and his Edisons, and he has them everywhere. So we will go swap out the fan upstairs. All right, so we're up in my daughter's room. She hasn't slept here in like 2 months because it's summertime. People are at the cottage. People are all over the place. So I've been doing the rotation up in her window as well. She will actually be here this week, sleeping over. You know, one of the things I noticed on this fan, if you look closely, it doesn't look like the badge, if you will, is centered on this fan. And everything else is like perfectly lined up. This fan is essentially new old stock. This Robeson, it's a cool fan. Yeah, like it looks like it's just, it's off to the left a little. Oh, quality at its finest, unless it's warped. But, all right, so this was cool. One of the reasons I chose this fan in the last rotation, in week 4 rotation, was I knew it would only be running for about a day or so because I would be heading out, as I just talked about, on vacation. So it wouldn't really get abused in the window for as much as like a solid week worth of running. All right, again, roll your eyes at me, complain, whatever, but we're gonna stick with the same theme as downstairs, except we're gonna do it a different way. So this one I acquired this past winter, and this one's a little different. So the badge is not in the center, the badge is top left. I think this would be, I'm not sure on the model numbers and times and all that, and they don't do as good a job as they say Lasco for date stamp. But I do think it might be newer, because eventually they changed this design to more like the Toastmaster design, not thin and light, but they used the banana blades and they moved the badge up here. So I'm wondering if this is like where we're heading. This does have the original feet on it on the rear, so I'm trying to be careful. The other thing with these fans that are a pain is putting them in the window on intake. They give you very little real estate at the top. Like, and you almost have to angle them to get anything. And these are thick cabinet fans, but they just made them so the switch is sets back towards the rear. So you kind of have to do this. All right, I think it's in there. Yeah, he's in there. Okay, so the reason why I grabbed this one was I think I already have one like this in my collection, but it was like really good price. It was like being practically given away, and I think it was an eBay purchase. It was practically being given away with like very low shipping. So I took it. It's an awesome shape, really awesome shape. And you can tell it has low use or low window use. This definitely really didn't have window use because it has the feet on the rear and the hint of a line of rust on the perimeter. These things rust on the inside so easily, and you get that line. And it's not because it gets necessarily used in the rain, but it's because the really damp, humid air, as a fan is just like throwing air, like just tiny moisture droplets that's in the air. You can't see it. Over time, it creates this like line down there, line on the top that aligns with the blades. So that also tells me this was not used in a window. It was used sparingly on the floor, which is cool. So we're gonna go ahead and use it in the window. It has someone's name written here, so maybe it was in a classroom years ago, or in an office or something. All right, so let's. Yeah, it's in sturdy. That's good. One of the things I like to do, lines down on top, adds a little weight, and especially with the Edisons, the rattle on the handle. It just looks weird to me to see the badge not in the center with the orange font. So we're going to use this one. All right, let's take a look from outside. All right, here you have it. You have good old McGraw Edison Comfort Fan. And you got another one up there. So you see them both ways. And then you have Eddie's Galaxy, and turn it on. It's gonna be in the 80s today, and right now it's probably low 70s. As you can see, the sun's coming. What I like to try to do is get the cool air moving as much as possible. I may have to switch to AC because, as I said, I'm working today, at least on the first floor. It's just, I hate it. One thing I hate here is like my office area doesn't have doors, so I can't just switch the AC on in my office area and leave it wide open everywhere else. It's like an all or nothing. And this house is solar powered, so I'm not really worried about that at all. It's been awesome. But anyway, so here you have it. And one of the things I can still hear my mother saying, like in the late 80s, is I like these fans because if you have them in the front window, you don't really see them. So that's gonna do it. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe for week 5, and we'll see you in the next one.